Hello, everybody. This is another episode of Entrepreneuring While Black. I am your host, your favorite entrepreneur's favorite entrepreneur, Rasheem Tagay. And today we have the illustrious Shameila Watson. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
All right,
How you
wonderful.
doing this morning?
I am great, and I'm glad to have you on the show. Like we talked about in the shop, I kind of wanted to talk about your origin story and your transition from where you were, where you are now, and where you're going. So before we get started, I just wanted to give you guys a moment to like, follow, and share, and to invite you to follow our podcast, Entrepreneuring While Black. You know me, Rasheem Tagay, owner of BioBusters Remediation, LLC, Elegant Essentials, and now Entrepreneuring While Black podcast. So let us get started. So let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Where did your entrepreneurial journey begin? Like, when did you first decide to become an entrepreneur?
Honestly, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Ever since I was a little girl.
So you always knew?
I always knew. I always knew I had a desire to kind of work for myself and do exactly what it is that I would like to do.
Okay.
Yes.
So from the very beginning. And what inspired you to become a loctician, to be a hairstylist?
What inspired me to become a loctician? It really started, my mom is a loctician.
Oh, okay.
She's a master loctician.
Nice.
And she has been for over 20 years. So naturally, I just picked it up from her and then decided to pursue it for myself. And here we are today.
So you started doing hair very early?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I've been knowing you for years. I've been using you as my loctician for years. You're already a successful hairstylist.
Thank you.
You've had your own business, your own shop for many years. What was it that made you decide to make the transition? Why did you pivot to real estate?
What made me pivot to real estate? To be honest, I always had a desire to enter into real estate. I just wanted to start something new. I have a strong love for helping people.
Okay.
I do. I always have. And I know real estate is just another field that I can enter into where I have the ability to help people and to help them build generational wealth as well.
Did you see any crossover? How did your skills in beauty and hair care translate to real estate? Is it just because I like to believe we're all salespeople no matter what we do.
We are
selling a product or a service, and now you're selling both. So do you see a crossover in what you were doing and what you're doing now?
I do, because honestly, it really just starts with authentically just being yourself. Once people get to know you, they naturally will build a relationship with you. And the biggest thing is just being able to help people. For me, that's just very rewarding. And in both fields, I'm able to do both.
Right, because I always tell people, it's like, no matter what you're selling, people buy from you because they like you.
They do.
It's not necessarily what your product is, because there's so many real estate agents, right? People choose you because they like you for who you are.
Correct.
And for being able to help them. Real estate's a different beast, though. What's the biggest challenge you face being a black woman in a predominantly white industry? Yeah.
I would say the biggest challenge is just making sure that you put yourself out there. I wouldn't necessarily even say that it's a challenge. It's just more of just putting in the work.
Okay.
Put in the work, be consistent, build relationships with people, and I just feel like with consistency, you will get the results that you're looking for.
Be yourself and keep hammering at it. Yeah, that's where it goes. So what does a regular day look like for you now? Because now you're juggling. Are you doing more of one, more of the other? I know you have a full clientele. When I go to book, it's always like book. So like, how do you balance it? And I know you have a family. So how does it all work for you?
It's a lot, but you definitely do what you have to do. Between, of course, being a mother first, and then actually having a hair salon, which does take a lot of my time, and having clients when it comes to showing homes. You create a schedule. I get up early. I start my day. I make sure I meditate. I make sure that I pray God's first always. And then you just create a balanced schedule. Sometimes I'll start with hair. Sometimes I start with real estate. It really just depends on the day.
I interview a lot of people. I'm starting to, and I'm noticing the commonalities is like everybody starts early. Everybody starts.
You have to.
Everybody has a structured life. Everybody has a schedule.
You have to.
It's like everybody. Those same tenets are always. I'm seeing them line up for successful people.
Yes, and then of course, with your schedule, sometimes it doesn't always work out the way that you want it to. But you just, and we gotta be honest and realistic. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you get it done. You do what you can.
Let's talk about how our people see you in the space. You're a successful entrepreneur. Now you jump into another space and you're doing that well. How long have you been in real estate now?
I've been in real estate now. It's been almost 2 years.
2 years. Okay. How do you feel like you're perceived by other people, whether it be young people, new entrepreneurs? Do you feel the need to represent? Do you feel you do?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I feel like it's important because for me, my biggest thing in life, I just want to be able to bless people with the knowledge that I have.
That's dope.
Especially for the younger generation. I just feel that, they need someone that they can look up to. It's one thing to say it, but then it's another thing for you to actually do it yourself.
That's awesome.
And then now I feel like we're also currently in a space where people just need that positivity around them, that motivation. If I'm able to provide that, then that's what I would love to continue to do.
Okay. A lot of times talented people, they find themselves doing a lot of this. I do this, and on the side I do that. You know what I mean? Because we can, but that's not always the best thing. What advice would you give somebody?
The best advice I would give someone is to say, just start. Many people feel like they don't have the knowledge, or they feel like they don't have the ability, or they feel like they have to take a class, or they don't have the income, etc. Take notes. Start with writing it down. You want to write it down, but it really starts mentally. You have to believe that you can do it. You have to get that confirmation from yourself. These are my goals. I'm going to get it done. Because no one else is going to believe in you until you believe in yourself first. Educate yourself. Look out for different resources. Build relationships with people. Talk, market yourself. You have to be your biggest advocate when it comes to any industry, because no one's going to hear you unless you put yourself out there and put in the work.
For sure. It takes a lot of faith, determination,
a lot of faith.
A lot of faith.
It's not going to be easy along the way, okay? So let me make that very, very clear. It's never going to be easy, but you just have to believe in yourself and keep moving.
People always talk about, I want to be an entrepreneur because I want to have my own time and I don't want nobody telling me what to do.
Entrepreneurship, I'm telling you, it's not for the weak.
It's not for the weak at all.
It's not for the weak. And there's pros and there's cons as well. I don't want anyone to think just because you're an entrepreneur that it's going to be easy and you're working for yourself. Yes, you're working for yourself, but please also understand you're putting double the amount of work. It's very rewarding, but you have to be willing to put in the work.
You trade in that 9 to 5 for a 24/7. That's what I tell people.
Yes, 24/7. Sundays, afternoons, you never know.
And then I'm like, I don't work for anybody. I work for my clients, though. My clients are always right. So my client wants this, that. I'm going to give my client what they need.
Yes.
That's what we do.
And it's important to also create a balance. I feel like many times when people are getting started and they want to build that successful business and to be an entrepreneurship, you have to create a balance. You have to create boundaries, know the days that you're going to work, know the time that you're going to put in.
Right.
You could create a strong business, but don't allow the strong business to take over you either.
Right. And you have to set boundaries even for family and friends, because
Definitely.
I noticed when I used to work at the people's job, my family didn't call me. They didn't call me at 9 to 5. They was like, Rashid's at work. We're not calling him. And now I run my own businesses. Hey, can you come over? No, I'm at work. I'm busy, Like, people think because you work for yourself that you can just do whatever you want when you want.
But you
it don't
can't.
work that way.
It doesn't.
You have to respect your job. You know what I mean? What does growth look like for you? Do you see yourself like building a team? Are you just in the learning phase? Investing, expanding? Where do you see yourself, let's say, in a few years from now?
Where do I see myself in a few years? I definitely see myself continuing to grow in both fields.
Okay.
To be honest, I enjoy talking and helping people. So I definitely want to be just more of an influential speaker to encourage other young people to know that they can be entrepreneurs as well. So my plan is truly to become an investor.
Awesome.
To become an investor, get more into commercial properties. I do have a residential property, and then also encourage other young stylists who have interest to be in the beauty industry, to encourage them and help them. I do offer a class as well for those that have an interest in wanting to learn how to start locks, or how to help their clients maintain their locks. So that's another service that I do offer.
Do you ever think about your legacy, like what people will say about you when you're gone? What are you going to leave behind?
I do.
You do?
I really do.
Okay, I'm scared of that.
Specifically, definitely for my children, my family, and for, others that I would say that I have inspired in some type of way. My goal is I would love to continue to inspire others, and the legacy that I would like to leave behind, like I want people to say like, Shameila was a boss. Like Shameila worked hard. Okay,
Right.
If she was able to do it and have children and have a family and have this crazy schedule, then I definitely know that I can do it as well. My biggest thing is in life, when you're able to be a blessing to others, then that is the biggest blessing.
That's dope. You doing it right now, we're showing people that it can be done, because you have a family. You have how many children do you have?
I have 3. I have 3 beautiful babies.
Awesome. Okay, so 3 babies.
Yes.
Your own business and out there hustling in real estate. That's amazing. How do you stay grounded, motivated? How do you continue to do it? Anybody can start. For me, I've noticed it's the everyday grind, the Tuesdays that nobody talks about.
Yes.
Just keep going. What motivates you? How do you do it?
What motivates me is that I put God first always. You have to. And I feel like when you build a stronger spiritual relationship with Him, then when He gives you certain ideas or thoughts or visions, believe in Him. Allow Him to guide you along the way. Yeah. I just feel like when you have faith, you can do whatever you tell yourself that you would like to do.
That's true.
For me personally, nobody can tell me what I could do, especially if He gave me the vision.
Right.
So that kind of keeps me grounded, to be honest.
That's so true, because once that vision, that thought comes into your mind, it can be done.
It could be
done. It wouldn't come into your mind if it couldn't be.
Yeah. And you have some days that are better than others. We all know that. You're going to have good days. You're going to have days where you're like, man, I'm tired. And when you know that, allow yourself to rest. I want to have these successful businesses, but I also know that my mental health is just as important. So when I'm tired, I will take a moment to rest.
You have that discernment. When you're at somebody's job, some days you can mail it in. You can say, I'm going to do my bare minimum today. They're going to get what they can get. But when you do that as an entrepreneur, you're hurting yourself.
You are.
So it's better to take the day off, rest, relax, recharge, and come back and
tomorrow.
Be that person. Tell me one thing that you wish you knew before you got started as an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's a good one.
What do you wish you knew? Yeah. Tell our startup, our beginner, something.
I wish I knew the cons that came along with it.
The cons.
Yes.
The late nights, the early mornings. What are
the late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices, the time that you have to take away from other things, the things that no one talks about, making sure that you have the additional income, because in the beginning, it's not easy. People like to create this perception that is glitter and gold from the day that you start your business.
It's not.
I feel like it's important to just be honest and transparent. When you're getting started with the business, you have to work hard. There's going to be days where you're like, damn, I need to go get me a 9-to-5 because
I miss that check every 2 weeks.
I don't have no clients tomorrow. But I tell you, man, when you just stay faithful, I guarantee you, with the consistency, you will build the clientele. So don't allow the lower moments to discourage you from continuing to move forward, because in the beginning, I had those days as well. And I wish those were things that I knew in the beginning, but I'm grateful that I learned them as I go. Because now, when you move forward, you just do things differently.
Right. I have another friend who's an entrepreneur, and he was always like, you don't lose, you always learn. But I was like, learning as an entrepreneur is expensive. Like,
very.
When you make a mistake, it always
you gotta pay for it.
You gotta pay for it. You always gotta pay for your mistake.
But you won't make that mistake later.
That's true. You won't do it because it costs you. The last question is, what's a myth about entrepreneurship? And it kind of goes on with the last question. What's a myth you like to debunk? Like, people think this about entrepreneurs, but it's not true.
People think that being an entrepreneur, that everything is just amazing and you have it so easy and you don't have to do much and you don't have to work as hard. That is not the case. And then people also believe that just because you're an entrepreneur, that everything is just glitter and gold. You got to also understand that everyone around you is not going to have that same mindset that you have. So along the way, if you might lose a friend or two, or a family member, or someone that may not understand, your vision or where you want to go. In the beginning, you're like, damn, this is hurtful. Nobody's supporting me. But then you have to understand that it's okay. Clap for yourself, and then the clients that are for you, they're naturally are going to come. They are. So don't look for people or family or friends to support you. Once you believe in yourself, keep moving. I'm telling you, the ones that are for you, they will naturally come.
That's a gem. That right there is a gem. All right, in closing, where can our listeners connect with you, learn from you, do business with you? You said you offer a class. Tell us how we can reach out, how we can connect.
Yes, so my hair salon is Culture and Locks Hair Bar. We've been in business now for 10 years, actually located in West Palm Beach, Florida. And my hair classes, you can connect with me for hair classes at Culture and Locks Hair Bar. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. You can check out my personal page as well. I do share a lot of information there as well. On Instagram, it's melly_25. And in regards to real estate, I do have a real estate page as well. It's Shameila Watson, FL Realtor on Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining the show. This is us, Entrepreneuring While Black. We will see you again next time.